Today's video is working on a Ford F250 Super Duty diesel, and we're gonna change the front axle. One of the U-joints in the front axle was worn out, so I tried to change them all, and I'll explain exactly what I did. So here's my front axle of my Ford F250 2008 Super Duty. I had to take it off because my U-joints on the front right here were worn out. So I replaced that one, which I did myself. It was fairly easy. Then I thought, well, since I have it off, I want to replace the other side too. So I tried to get the other side apart, which you can see has two U-joints and then a kind of ball in the middle. I couldn't get this apart, so I had to take it into a professional. I have a friend that's a mechanic, and he has attempted this. I am not a mechanic. I don't tend to be. I just like to try things for myself. I have a friend that's a mechanic, and he told me that this is very difficult for him to do, to take it to a specialist. So I did that. So there's two U-joints here, and then in between there's a ball, but on the side of that ball, I guess there's all kinds of pins. It moves with pin bearings. So when this comes apart, all those pin bearings fall out, and it makes it very difficult. It's also very difficult to get these U-joints out right here. So if you do come across this, I suggest, just through my experience, to take it to a specialist to get those changed. Now this one down here, I changed myself. It wasn't very difficult. Something to keep in mind when you are moving it around, that this part of the U-joint here, this cap will come off. So be careful when you're moving it around that you don't lose that, and then you have to put a new one in. The second thing I had a difficult time with was when I was removing it, I stripped two of the bolts that hold the clamps on, like this. It's a clamp that holds it on. It's a little C-clamp, and it's held on by two of these nuts. I stripped this part of it, so I had to cut them. So right now I'm going to go under and try to weld a new nut on the end so I can get the end pieces out without having to drill it. Once we do that, we're going to put the front axle back in, and we should be good to go. We're supposed to get a storm in a couple days, so right now I don't have my four-wheel drive. I just have two-wheel because this is what runs the front wheels on my truck. Here's my truck, 2008 Ford F250 Super Duty. It's a work truck. You can see it's rusting away. We're going to try to fix that this year. Something to keep in mind on the 2008 Ford F250 is that you have a wheel hub lock here that puts it into four-wheel drive. Now, if you leave that locked, your front axle will spin even though you're not in four-wheel drive, which I learned the hard way, and will wear your U-joints out. So make sure if you're only in two-wheel drive that you unlock that hub, and it'll save your U-joints from wearing out over time. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the welder out, and we're going to try to weld some nuts onto those bolts that I had to cut so we can pull that out. So the first thing you want to do before you start to weld is you want to disconnect your battery. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Also, Ford F250 is pretty high, so because I'm a short guy, I need my ladder to get up in there. Now on the Ford F250 we have two batteries. We have one on this side And we have one on this side. I'm not really sure what each of them do. I just assume there's so much that the truck needs so much power that there's two batteries, or one's a backup. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic. I could probably look into it, figure it out, but I always make sure both batteries are good. So we're going to disconnect both batteries, and then we're going to move on to welding some nuts underneath. I just noticed this. Well, I was just away for a week, and I noticed I already took some of these away. Put a big pile of leaves down in there too. So something tried to make a nest in my truck. Looks like they went right up in here into the firewall. Probably a squirrel or some mice. That could have easily been a fire, so that's something else I got to clean up before I drive too far. Get a little smoke. All right, back to the task at hand. We got a 5/16, and we're just gonna loosen it up, take those off. There we go. So now we take our new bolt. So you can see, if you can see it, you can see it's got some color on there. I believe that's Loctite. So when you screw this in, it doesn't come loose. It's a pretty important part, so you want that to stay in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to our handy dandy cup of old or good nuts and see if we can find one that goes over this just a bit. That's too small. But just goes over this just a bit. And then when we put it on this side, we can screw it on just a hair and weld down inside of it. Maybe this one. That one was too small. That one's too big. This one right here. That one, you can see it just catches the threads. And I don't care if it goes in all the way, but it's going to make it easier to weld in here to make it stick to this side. So I'm going to find another one of those, and those look like the winners. I got two of them I had to cut because I had stripped this trying to take them off. Hence, the Loctite was working. So I found my two. They just, doesn't even matter if they're the right thread. I just want it on there enough that I can get my welding wire in there and make a weld, because I've cut this head off, and then once it's welded I should be able to back my this part of the bolt out and get the new ones on. So that's the next. I'm going to set up my welder and get ready to go. Now before we get going and get these all welded on, we want to make sure we have the right ratchet head to get this out. So I got a 1/2 inch there. You see my bolt fits in there just perfect, so I know it's going to be 1/2 inch in order to get it off. So yesterday I got the battery unhooked and got everything ready to go, only to realize that my welder extension was too short. So I had to hook everything back up, turn the truck around, and unfortunately now I'm into the second day and got everything set up, got the batteries disconnected again, got the welder hooked up. See the welder, got the batteries disconnected. Also a good time to clean your terminals. So now we're going to go under the truck, and so here you can see where the front axle connects to, and you can see the two bolts that are sitting in there. Those are the two bolts I'm going to try to get out. So I'm going to hammer them a little bit, try to loosen them up. I've already sprayed them earlier with some WD-40, and hopefully we can get those out. For safety reasons, put a jack stand under. You never know if the hydraulic jack will let go, so you always want a little safety. Not that even if this fell it's going to land on me, but I may be in a position where it might. Okay, here we go. Pound this a few times. That should loosen them up, hopefully. Might have to file these a bit to from when I cut it, just to get these screws on a little tighter. I'm gonna file it. Just filing off where I cut it so that nut will fit over a little better. You can see that I have the locks aren't in. I'll put them in when I go to try to pull these out. Again, I'm not a mechanic, nor do I claim to be one. I just like to save money if I can. Hopefully figure out what's going on by myself and fix the problem. A lot of things are very basic. You don't need special tools for, but sometimes you do. Just trying to get it to stay on there so I can tap my weld in. I need a little more. I need a little more. There we go. That one stayed. Oh, almost. Nothing is easy. There you go. Well, that one stayed. Get that tack on. Where's the other one? There it is. There we go. On both. Now I gotta get down inside of there to get those tacks on. And we gotta lighten it up. So I'm gonna put my safety gear on, my helmet, my gloves, hook this up. Got my welder. We're gonna try to get right inside of there and put some welds on. Welding helmet. It's a little tight under here. It'd be nice to have a lift and a shop, but Not everybody has that. Put my welding gloves on. Got my helmet on. Battery is disconnected. And doesn't look like there's anything around that we can really catch fire to. Here we go. It's hot. All right, we got her tacked on. Hopefully that does the trick. Let it cool down. And then I'm going to try to get those off and out. Okay, having welded that up, you can see that I can't. That one did not hold. I have to try that one again. And this one did. So I'm gonna have to lock the hub, and then I'll give another chance at welding that one back on. Have to get a new nut. Put too much junk in it. Alright. Let's try to get this one off first, and then we'll tack the second one. Alright, we got a second attempt at the weld on the second one. We did lock the hub in, but it still seems to be moving. Oh, there she goes. She's locked. So, I'm going to try to weld this again, the second one. Put a little bigger nut on there. Maybe it fits a little better. Gets a little deeper onto the bolt. And here we go. I don't know if you can see this, but if you bend your wire, I like it to be straight. So just cut a little piece off just to make it nice. Alright, there we go again. Try to tack between the nut and the bolt. Sometimes you burn it. It's on there. A little more. Get down in here. There you go. All right. Try that. Hear me groaning because I'm in a kind of uncomfortable position under this truck. Again, you know, it'd be nice to have a lift, but not everybody has that, so you gotta do with what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do. You got to do's what you got to do's. So I get to jack it up a bit and crawl under it in the snow. So what we're trying to do here is I'm trying to get my axle on before the snow. Alright, so I got my 1/2 inch right here. I got a little weld on the outside of it. And that did not hold. Well, try this one. That's not going to hold either. Okay, so that was another fail. I couldn't get the nut welded on. So now I'm going to try to drill it out and then use a bit that goes in the drill hole and backs the nut out. So that's my next attempt. We'll see how it goes. Okay, here's our next attempt. We're going to try to drill holes in to the screw, and then we're going to use a tool that looks like a drill bit, and to drill it, it goes in and it's supposed to help catch and then turn that screw out without a head. I've never done this before, so this is first time. My mechanic buddy told me to put a nut here. I don't know how well that's going to help me, but the object is to make sure you keep your drill bit going in straight, which may be the hard part. I probably should punch it first. Let me go get my punch. Yeah, I'm going to have to punch it first to get that started. I'm going to go get my punch. So, I got my punch. The object is the punch is to leave a little hole there. And I don't know if you can see that, but it allows the drill bit to stay on the center instead of moving around. Put one in here. Got one in both now. Hopefully that'll keep the drill bit centered on the screw. Now it's still moving a little. That is a new bit. There we go. So I'm going to try to hold that as level as possible. Sure how far I should go before I switch. Not in too far. Try doing the other one. Keep it straight if you can. I don't see any shavings yet. There we go. Put a little more pressure on it.
Many unbearable hours later.
Well, that's in there. It's just not letting go. Okay, it's not letting go, so now I'm going to heat it up. Let's try to release that bolt. You're gonna heat up, not the bolt, but the steel around it. Hopefully that'll get it to let go. You gotta get it pretty hot, so have to hold her on there for a while. The object is that the steel on the outside will expand first and not the bolt. There's a cool tool for this. It's like a coil. Heats it up like crazy. I was thinking of getting one. I thought it was pretty neat. Alright, let me try that. Definitely generating some heat there. Oh, sounds like it's moving. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Success. One down, one to go. Sweet. The object is not to wreck your threads in here, so hopefully I didn't go through sideways, catch any of those threads. That was a little difficult. I don't say that was easy. Any stretch of the means. And there she is out. Success! Sweet! So sometimes you gotta try multiple ways to get things out. You can see how. There we go. Let's see, I should turn this a little. So we got her. Now I gotta get this off so I can get at that one. I'm gonna turn this a little. I got the tire up, so I got a piece of. Move that just a hair. I'm gonna go block it again and see if we can get that out. Heat it up.
Many unbearable hours later.
Come on. Pop, 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 pop. Come on, pop. Oh, sweet. Persistence. Persistence. Oh my gosh, did it come? Please. Felt like it let go. Oh, I think it did. I think it's just in there crooked. Oh my god, yes. Yes. Success. Well, we may get it on tonight. I may get lucky. If not, I got my buddy's garage. We can do it in there. Oh my gosh, yes. 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 And I didn't come out, which is good. As you can see, I did not break. I did go through it though. You can see I didn't break through the sides, and therefore the threading in there is still good. Alright, so I can clean this up. And next is to get this on. Let's do it. I don't know if we're going to be able to see this, but I got to get the shaft up and over. I got the bolts out. So I got to get the shaft up and over this right here. Which, it's laying on top of me. Oh, not skinny enough. There we go. And then I can rest it on top of this, right like that. Get it in line to where it hooks in. And we want to go past it a little so we can get these all lined up. That sits in there just like that. So we got this side lined up. Now I gotta get this side. There we go. Well, the holes aren't lined up, but this is all sitting in where it's supposed to be. So I did buy new bolts, the new C-clamps to hold this on. Considering how hard it was to get these out, we should be doing very good now. And there's, you can see here, there's a little piece that holds this into place so it doesn't move. And then these C-clamps go over it and hold it into place here. All you gotta do is line that up. I'm just gonna put them in loose for now, for a minute. Finger tight. Make sure the threads are, you don't want to screw it down if it doesn't go in finger tight. You'll wreck your threading, so make sure you're lined up nice. If it doesn't go in, back it out, readjust your line, and try it again. Eventually, it will go. Now that, finger tight. That one didn't go as far. That might just be because it was, well, she's lined up. Might be hitting the seal, the lock seal. Now, I got this undone, so I got my tire up. It's locked in still, but with my tire up, it allows me to turn it. Now I'm going to put the other side on, finger tight. You can see that is not in right there. This is why you just put it in finger tight. I don't want to hit this with my hammer, so I'm just going to get a piece of wood here. Here it goes, right into place. Perfect. Simple, simple, simple. Okay, now let's get our... now, what do I do with those now? There they are. 1, 2, 3. Alright. And we're going to get these finger tight. Same.
some Loctite on there that holds it in place once it's screwed down. This stops it from coming loose. Nope, don't want to go. Go. Let's get on there straight. There you go. Cut threads there. Number 8. This is these ones are 8 millimeters. Back one is I think it was 12. I'll have to look at them. Pretty sure it was a 12. The 1/2 inch was a little loose, so I went to millimeters. This one does not want to catch. There it goes. Not very good. Let's see here. Let me try getting it without that. Yeah, so that's good. That goes. So I'm just kind of stopping it. Go right through. Let's see if I can get it better that way. Yeah, there we go. Got her. Alright, so I'm going to put the backs on now, just loose. Oh, these bolts go in from the other side, like this. And you can see the holes there. Now you got to turn this until it lines up. And we can see our line there. It lines up. You see my line where it came off the first time. It's kind of cool because that just shows it lines up right. See it coming through. There we go. That's in loose. Hopefully I'll be able to turn this. Yep, I can. Get all 4 of these and then I'm going to tighten them all up. And and then we got to hook the battery back up. I did take the battery off to weld. Most people recommend you do that so you don't fry anything out. Okay, this isn't as easy as it should be. Wants to move on me. There we go. There we go. Remember, always do it finger tight because if the threads are off and you crank it down, you're gonna wreck your threads. You can see the Loctite on here. That just once you screw it down, it keeps it screwed in nicely. And you can see that's tightening up nicely. We got one more right there. So there's 8 screws. 4 on this and 4 on the front. And that's gonna screw in nicely. So now I'm gonna tighten that up. Beautiful. With my number, my 12. 12 millimeter. I'm gonna do this all not cranked yet. You want to get these on nice and tight too. So, had I not cut those bolts out, this job would have been much easier. So just so you know, try to get your bolts out clean if you can. Probably what I should have done, was to heat them up ahead of time, and that might have helped them pop out. So I guess that's a little trick that I'll use down the road. So this is really only my second thing I've ever done on a truck. The first was very basic. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of things to this truck, and hopefully it'll help somebody else to do some stuff on their own and not have to pay a mechanic thousands of dollars to do this. So when I did take the that joint in right here to the specialist, it cost me a couple $100. Oh, I got a package. All right, I got my gloves. Hands are getting all greasy. What are you gonna do? You can see some of that loctite coming out there. Sometimes you can use your ratchet. I usually ratchet it down until it's snug, and then I'll use the wrench to finish it up. I'm just gonna make these snug first. And then I'm going to crank them down by hand to give you that extra little. Well, it's still loose. See that? Not even close. I'll try to even this out. Still see this one's got a lot of play in it. That crank down. Tight. Tight. Both of them on very well. Go the other side once more. Fortunately for a number 8, I only got this small one. Pounds of pressure. I don't have my pressure torque. Just doing them as tight as I can. Alright, those are all down. This is the 12. So I'm going to do these nice tight on each one. Put my block in. I'm gonna put my block. Oh no, because I gotta turn it. So I'm just snugging them until it spins. Now I'm gonna put my block in. Just to hold it. Put it on this side. There we go. Tight. We'll go around this twice just to make sure. Bring her here, like push up on it. Tight. 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 Okay, just check them once more. Tight. 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 All right, she's all in. Good to go. Okay, all we gotta do is hook the battery back up. And we're good to go. I'm gonna give it a test run. Hope you enjoyed. If you have a 2008 Ford F250, maybe this gives you some hints on some things you can do. I will be doing other things to this truck, but that's just a start.
Final thoughts on the project. Had I not cut those bolts, this job probably would have been a 3 or 4 out of 10. Instead, it ended up being a 8 or 9 out of 10. Took me 1 day to get everything off, not a full day, but it was definitely a full day and a half to get everything back on, only because of those bolts. Those bolts took me most of the day today. So had I got those off clean, this would have been a pretty easy job. As far as the axle goes, you probably want to take it in to get that, you probably want to take it in to get the ball part taken apart and the U-joints changed on that. The front one you can do yourself if that's the problem, and that was my problem. I didn't have to do the other two because they were still good, but because I had it off, I just wanted to change them all. Also, when you change that out, best thing to do, get all new bolts and replace them all. So again, if you're going to hook your battery back up, make sure you have your keys in your hands if you have an alarm, as the alarm will go off right away as soon as you put your positive and negative on your battery, and it'll scare the hell out of you. And so just be aware of that. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we're going to be doing a bunch of things to the F250, as long as more things with the farm, more things with bees. I'll try to videotape what I can, and hopefully it helps people out. If you want a DIY. I'm a DIY guy. I'm not a mechanic by any means, but I will try anything once. Thanks. Have a good one.